Am I the a-hole for ignoring our friend on our trip to Mexico? Last year, around this time, my friends and I planned a trip to Cancun Dream Natura Resort and Spa. We all wanted to drink, eat, dance, and relax on the beach with no kids. I'm the only one without kids, so I was really looking forward to spending time with just my friends to unwind. Every other trip before this was planned with the kids, but this time, there would be no early bedtimes, no crying, no screaming, no sand in our drinks because kids think it's funny to throw sand. 1 week before the trip, one of the friends said she's bringing her 10-year-old. This woman can never tell her kid no. We had all warned her beforehand that if this happens, we weren't going to change anything. To say I was annoyed was an understatement, LOL. But I sucked it up. I still had 2 friends who were going child-free and had no intention of changing any plans. My 2 other friends and I drank, we ate amazing food, we danced all night, and spent the day at the beach. The friend with the kid expressed her frustration about the rest of us doing what we wanted, and she couldn't. My response was pretty much, well, that sucks, but we're not going to change the entire point of this trip just because of your inability to tell your kid no. We invited her to do what we were doing multiple times, but her response was always, I can't. My kid wants to go. So there was definitely tension between the 3 of us and her the entire trip. When we were making our long way back home, all 3 of us got a really nasty message from her fiance, calling us bad friends, and how dare we not revolve our entire trip around her and their kid, that she had a terrible time and it was our fault. I was like, pardon? That was pretty much the last straw for me. Now, I never tell my friends how to parent their children, but their daughter is so nasty. She is so spoiled and, like I've stated earlier, has never been told no. So you can understand how entitled this child is. My other friends are a lot more reasonable when it comes to their children. Their children are polite, have a general understanding about boundaries, and they behave really well for 8 to 10-year-olds. My text back to him was pretty much, we made these plans a year in advance, expecting us to be fine with the fact that you guys dropped it on us that your child was coming a week before we were leaving, and then expecting us to change everything and cancel all of our plans because you guys can't tell your kid no is not fair to us at all. That is a you problem, not ours. I'd understand if something came up and she had no choice but to bring her kid. Shit happens. People cancel. But that was not the case. Her fiance was home the entire time, and her grandmother was looking forward to watching her granddaughter. But her kid freaked out about not being allowed to go on the trip, and they couldn't tell her no. Now her and her fiance are super pissed. Were we in the wrong here? Honestly, not the a-hole. These parents are really bad. Like, you gotta learn how to discipline your kid. That's so freaking entitled. Especially because she could have been babysat the entire time by either the dad or the grandma. I'm like immediately unfriending this person. Am I the a-hole for asking my girlfriend to dress more sensibly on a walk? My girlfriend and I, both 30, go on this trail by the river sometimes, and most people are in casual or sporty clothes. The first few times we did it, she wore a maxi skirt and high heels, and I felt like it was really out of place. I told her after the last time that next time she should dress more sensibly. She claimed it was fine, but it is really out of place, and even if she won't admit it, she definitely struggles, particularly at the end of the trail where it is not paved. Everyone looks at her, and she even gets a few comments, especially about the shoes. So I wonder if she does it for attention. We went again recently, and she showed up in the same type of outfit. Long skirt, heels clicking on the ground, makeup done like we were going out to dinner instead of a walk. I felt embarrassed walking next to her because everyone else was in athletic clothes, and she stood out. I reminded her that I had already asked her not to dress like that for this specific activity. She told me I was being controlling and that she can wear whatever she wants. I feel like she is deliberately ignoring what I said, but at the same time, I do not think it's unreasonable to expect her to fit the setting. Am I the a-hole for saying something? Okay, honestly, I kind of think the guy is the a-hole because she should be allowed to wear whatever makes her comfortable. Now, is that right? Maybe it's right for her. And if it's not not right for you, maybe you guys aren't compatible. Maybe she's dressing the way that makes her feel comfortable, even if that's out of place, not exactly made for the terrain. You shouldn't want to control how she dresses. Now, you staying with her, that's your decision. So I think, like, face value, this person is the a-hole. Am I the a-hole for reporting a senior teacher? I, 28 male, teach at a high school that recently set up an exchange program with a partner school in Japan. It's a pretty big opportunity. The grant covers everything for 2 students and 1 teacher to spend a month there. The selection process was supposed to be handled by a small board, made up of our vice principal and a senior teacher. Let's call her Sharon, 50s female. They created a rubric for teachers who wanted to go, submit a curriculum proposal, pass a basic Japanese language test, and do an interview. I spent a few weeks putting my proposal together. I've also been taking Japanese lessons for about a year on my own. As far as I know, I was the only teacher who actually completed the testing and submitted all the required paperwork. Last week, the final decision was posted in the faculty lounge, and my name wasn't on it. Sharon's was. That surprised me because she hadn't been at any of the testing sessions. When I asked her about it, she basically said that since she chaired the board and had more seniority, they felt it made more sense for her to represent the school. She also said the testing requirement was mostly a formality anyway. I didn't argue with her about it. Instead, I contacted the district superintendent's office and asked for clarification about the selection process. I sent them my proposal, my test results, and the rubric, and asked why my application wasn't considered when it seemed like the listed requirements weren't applied to everyone. After that, the district started looking into it. The grant apparently requires a merit-based selection process, so once they saw the situation, they removed Sharon from the program and put the exchange on hold while they review what happened. Sharon is pretty angry about it. She told me I went over people's heads and caused unnecessary trouble, and that I might end up costing the students the trip this year, then proceeded to call me an asshole. Some of the staff are also frustrated because the program might be delayed or even canceled depending on the outcome of the investigation. TLDR, I worked hard for a Japan exchange and met every requirement, yet Sharon got it just because she's a senior teacher. I reported it to the district and now they're investigating and the program is on hold. Am I the a-hole here? Honestly, systems are so wild like that, and I feel like those environments really breed this type of seniority vibe, and I kind of hate that, honestly. I'm sure you hate it now, OP. Definitely not the a-hole. You did everything that was required. You had to have been the most prepared and best choice for this, and Sharon is just kind of lazy and super entitled. I wouldn't feel like you're to blame for all of this. I would definitely say that it's Sharon, and probably the vice principal as well, unless it was all just Sharon. Am I the a-hole for telling my brother he needs to find new childcare? I, 28 female, have been babysitting my brother, 25 males, boys, since his oldest was born almost 4 now. I switched my work schedule to be able to watch the boys after my overnight shifts and to better help him so he and his wife can still work. And all was well for a bit until they decided to have a second kid. And I was getting super burnt out with hardly any sleep, as sometimes they wouldn't get home until 4 to 5 p.m. and I had to be up for work by 8 p.m., leaving me 3 to 4 hours of sleep a night. I tried to set boundaries, but ultimately caved to their pressure along with my parents on their side. Their solution was I come home, nap, then go over to watch the boys before going home to sleep some more, 5 to 6 hours a day, for $100 a month to watch both boys. And I gave them a 2-year timeline and told them if they had a third child, I would be done watching them. Well, recently I lost my job and I've been out of the job for almost 2 months. I've been applying for full-time and part-time work for all shift hours, and I finally got hired. The issue is I have 2 days of orientation this month, and I don't start part-time day shift until the end of April, maybe end of May. I told my brother and his wife I'd have orientation for 2 days this month, and went to remind them again yesterday, only for everything to blow up. I was basically told I'm a major up and disappointment that needs to grow up because when our parents pass, he's not going to keep bailing me out or helping me like he does, and that no one will be able to take those 2 days off and I have to watch the boys. Plus, he claims I never told him it was a day shift job because that won't work for him and everyone else over, meaning they won't have someone to watch the boys. After a lot of tears on my part and arguing, I told him I can't pass up a job that's willing to pay when I have no other job prospects at at the moment, and that I will be going to the orientation those 2 days, and he has until the end of April to find alternate childcare. Now, neither he or his wife will talk to me, other than ask when the baby last had a bottle when walking in the door, because they now have to figure out childcare. Am I the a-hole? No, absolutely not. Not the a-hole. For one, you're doing them a solid service. Childcare is so expensive. I don't know where you're from, but $100 per month is insane. You should just make that like a business or something. I definitely think he had no right to blow up on you, calling you a up. I think these people are also very entitled, but I will say that you sort of enabled them into that. But I'm glad that you put your foot down, because you need to take care of yourself, and getting a job that pays your bills and your livelihood and allowing you to live a life where you actually get enough sleep is your right. Am I the a-hole for making a 30-year-old woman cry? I, 24 female, and my friends, 24 assorted, went to see a musical on Broadway last night. After the show, we decided to wait by the stage door to greet some of the actors. I just so happened to get the last spot directly behind the barricade. As more audience members start to join the crowd, I noticed this woman behind me getting closer and beginning to make contact with the back of my body. So I push a tiny bit forward, figuring she may need more room. She does this again, making more contact now. I scooch once more. At this point, I was pretty much hugging the person in front of me. My friends noticed me getting visually uncomfortable and asked if I was okay. I say to them, yeah, this girl behind me just keeps getting closer. Not with any viscera or malice, I purposefully said this with as flat a tone as possible. I didn't want to start anything, but also I didn't want to downplay my own uncomfortableness by saying it in a lighthearted manner. As I say this, the woman behind me and her friend, mid-30s white southern, immediately lock in on me. They say some combination of, oh, sorry, I guess, and she literally didn't mean to. Whatever. I said, it's all good. I get it. It's just crowded and I've had a long day. As we were in a large crowd and mistakes happen. As I turn around to say this, I see the woman has literally burst into tears, like is fully crying on the streets of NYC for the next 30 minutes. As I'm trying to get autographs and chat with the cast, she continues to cry and make comments under her breath, saying things like, I don't get what I did wrong. She could have said something to me, and I just can't believe people behave like that. As the audience is leaving, after autographs, her and her friend flag me down. They tell me they also had a bad day. They understand that I had too, and that it was just a crowded place. Not really wanting to entertain a crying 30-year-old woman anymore, I just assure them that it's okay and rejoin my group. As they walk away, I hear the woman say, it just wouldn't kill some people to be kind. I am someone who people describe as a walking ray of sunshine, and it seems this woman is adamant in the fact that my actions were intentionally unkind and rude. Am I the a-hole for talking to my friends about personal space? I think there's courtesy in those situations, and it goes both ways, and I think that OP showed that courtesy, even just the first scooch. Honestly, this lady is low-key kind of weird. For one, reacting that way, crying for 30 minutes if it was actual tears or she was just putting on a show. Definitely not the a-hole.